Okay, stand right there.
Adjusting.
Stand right there.
All right. So we're going to stand here until we introduce our panelists, and then we're going to sort of let them take it away. We're going to probably ask some questions in between. You know, we need to know what's going on. But anyway, welcome again to another beautiful day at Out on Film 2025. Yes. And our second annual Queer Film Summit. We are recording for YouTube. So hello, folks. How are you? Thank you, Miko. We are on our last panel of our Queer Film Summit 2025, Lights, Lipstick, and Latex, the practical effects of queer movie magic. It's a great way to learn how to do practical effects for horror, fantasy, and we have two amazing panelists here to assist and teach. Also, just to introduce ourselves, my name is Leo Holland, he, him. I am a part of the Queer Film Alliance, Industry Engagement Committee. I'm on the Out on Film Board, and along with Io and Ava, have helped to put together this amazing Queer Film Summit.
And thank you for the intro for all of us, so we don't have to say the same things. All the things that Leo said. I'm Io Layton, they, them pronouns, and I'm so excited about this panel.
I am Ava Davis, she, her pronouns, and I too am so excited. I feel like I'm gonna be like Hoda or Kathy. I'm gonna say, like, what's going on here? So I am so excited.
All right, and let's go ahead and start this way. Can you introduce yourself? Come closer here so we're on camera. Introduce yourself, pronouns, and what do you do?
My name is Linda Oswitz, she, her pronouns. I'm a makeup artist. I did go to school professionally in New York City to be a makeup artist, to do work on film and TV. So it's been an honor to work with these guys, and I'm very excited to be here today.
What's your most recent project?
Fishy was my most recent project, and it was a blast to work on. It was so much fun.
And what are you demoing today?
So I'm going to be demoing practical injuries, bruises, scars, that kind of thing. So, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them as well.
Yeah, okay. As we go along.
Hey, and then
This crazy ball of energy. Hello, I am Tim Mercado, otherwise known as Guys and Manelli is actually my drag name. And yeah, so I actually, believe it or not, a kid's toy designer who also does sculpting, who also does this and a bunch of other stuff. So today I'm going to be demoing how to essentially, before you can make prosthetics that you want to, that'll fit your face, you need to first cast your face, which sounds big and scary. It's really not. This whole thing is like $100 total. It just looks big and scary. So we're gonna walk through that process, but once we get there, I'll kind of talk you through.
Excellent.
and then let's get your pronouns to both of I think you said yours, but let's get your
I don't care. I really don't care. If I'm in drag, it's she, her. Right now, he, him. I really don't care.
All right, love it. Yeah. All right, well with that, what are we doing first?
We doing this first?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. All right. So we have this tiny screen here to kind of walk you through a little bit of the process. So Harlow, we both worked on fishing, and Harlow was our gorgeous fish lady. For the end of the short film, she transforms into this like full fish character, and we were trying to figure out how do we make her face still kind of look like her face and still look drag, but also feel fish, right? So what I started with was we casted her face here, and this is the process I'm going to show you. So what you end up with is essentially a death mask, but you're alive. But yes, so this is like, literally this is her. She was sitting there for an hour. I have a video that we can kind of click through. You can see she said it was very relaxing. She literally, and I tell you, like, again, this looked all big and scary. This was at my house in my backyard. Quite literally, I can't speak to anything wacky we say on this video, but so this is her with plaster bandages on, the straws in her nose so that she can breathe. We like breathing. She's not a fish yet, so she needs to breathe. So this is essentially what we're gonna do. So just to demonstrate how not scary this process is too, this morning I went to go get what I normally use, which is plaster bandages. So it's the kind of bandages you would get for literally like doctors use on a cast. You can get them on Amazon for like 25, 35 bucks. But I thought go ahead.
Safety question.
Safety question.
So if you've never done this before, what considerations should you take into consideration since this is being broadcast on the internet and everyone likes to copy everything?
Well, will there be some kind of follow-up where I can send a link of materials?
Yes.
Why don't we do that?
Just in general,
Yes. What? So yes.
Did you do training?
I trained with a teacher that I just took a class with. This is not some big scary thing, and that's the beautiful thing about this. So again, it sounds big and scary. It sounds like doctors use this for. It's literally just cheesecloth and plaster, which is what I was about to say.
So sorry.
So you can get I would suggest using the pre-done ones with the bandages that are already coated as plaster. You can get them on Amazon, but I did not have them today. I ran out. I thought I had more. So I went to the art store and I got plaster of Paris and cheesecloth and I cut them into strips, and that's what we're going to use today. So we might have a little bit of like bumpiness when I'm mixing the plaster, but we're all going to be on that together. But it just shows you this is not a huge deal, right? I mean, it is, but it's not, you know what I'm saying. So, just kind of walking you through the process, and we're going to do it on our lovely model Dan, right? Correct? Doug. Doug. And then we're going to kick it over to Linda to do your wound thing while we're covering your face with plaster. So, just to talk through the process first. So, I cut all these bandages here. We have our plaster of Paris. I'm going to mix it with water and be dipping the plaster bandages into there, covering it with plaster. And then I'll be running my fingers down to make sure it's an even coat, just so that you don't get too much lumpy bumpy. When you use the ones that are already pre-done, you just dip them in water and you put them on the face. It's super easy. The key here is you want to almost massage the plaster into the face, because what it's gonna do is it's gonna capture a lot more detail than you think it is if you keep going over and kind of crisscrossing in layers, and you'll see what we do there. But it creates this web, this network, where it captures pores and a lot more detail than you think, right? Terrifying. One safety consideration to take into account, you should shave as much as possible. Eyebrows and eyelashes are okay, but this will take off some hair if you do not use Vaseline. So, like any good old fisting kit, just have your Vaseline. And we don't know anything about that here, sorry. So we're gonna coat his face in Vaseline first, right? That is going to get rid of, any of the pulling of hair for his eyebrows and his eyelashes. But it is best to shave as much as you're comfortable. I would shave my eyebrows just because it just gets a better cast. But so that is one safety consideration to take into account. Once you have this, right, so what we're doing here, we'll make that mold, we'll pour plaster into it, we'll have this, and then what you'll do is you'll get wax. It's sculpting wax. Again, we'll have a link where we can post that on Amazon, not expensive, and it doesn't have to be a certain kind of brand or anything. And you take that wax and you can put it onto this face mold and you can build up what you want to. So what I essentially did here was, after we had her face cast, I took that and I started building up with this wax, right? So now this is her face, and it's building up exactly. You can see this is the first step of the process. I showed Milo. We discussed we want it to be a little bit more draggy, a little bit more lip forward. So you can see it's starting to take shape here, and all of that is just on this cast that I have right here, right? After that is done, I can walk through later on in the afternoon, I don't want to take up all of our time here, how you would then take a cast of this, essentially, which again, sounds scary, it's not. That is what this is. So now this is the cast of that wax mold that you see in this photo, right? So now I poured silicone into just a tub like this. I had the base in the bottom, poured silicone into it, right? And we have the wax is already on this face sculpt. The silicone, again, you can find it on Amazon, Smooth On, or any other brand. You just want silicone. That there's different kinds of silicone. It doesn't really matter for this mold because this is just the casting mold you're going to be using to cast your final prosthetic. So you'll pour the silicone in there, that'll set, and then you get this, right? So now, the last step of the process, and I know this sounds complicated, but when you see me do it, it's not. You're gonna get dragon skin, which is another kind of silicone. It is a very stretchy, lightweight silicone.
All of this sounds so
Yeah,
magical.
something
It does, and it sounds scary, and it's really not. And that's why I have to do it in front of you, so you realize it's not dragon skin. So this is just a silicone that is a lot stretchier and rubberier, and this is what prosthetics are normally made out of. So what I did was I used these two, $35. You mix part A, part B together, and you paint it on the inside of this, right?
Another safety clarifying question, because I know how some people operate. Would you use this on private parts?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that. I mean, that might be a question over here with application, and more so on the application side. This is for like creating the prosthetics. And I'll be honest, my expertise is not so much on application. We're gonna kick it over to our fine artist over here. But once you put that Smooth On, the dragon skin in there, what you're gonna do is take all your wax off this, right? So you'll have this plain face without this weird pimple. And then as this is setting, I pressed this into that face mask, right? So now I have the dragon skin. I essentially have, see, it's not that complicated. This is liquid, right? This is a liquid version of this. I put it in here. As it's setting, I take this mask, I take all my wax off of it, press it in, and you don't have to hold it there, I mean, it's heavy enough. As it sets, what this is gonna do is the front part is the fish, the back part is an exact mold of Harlow's face. So this will fit her pretty much like a glove. Yes, right? So now this builds up all of her, so her nose, if you can kind of see, is under there. So all this is built up around her nose, and she couldn't breathe out of her nose, but who needs to breathe? So yeah. So now you'll have this prosthetic, and then you would give it over to an artist that would put it on, and now I'll kick it over as I start this process.
Wait, can we do an intro of our model, please? So name and pronouns.
Okay. My name is Doug Rice, pronouns they and them. And I have a one movie credit, and that is for one of the worst movies ever made, called In Chong. It was years and years ago. I was in Korea, and I was in a Marine and got killed 3 times, I think. I'm a good zombie.
Thank you. Here's the water.
Thank you so much.
Before you move on,
Yes.
can I ask
Oh,
you
yeah.
another question? So that silicone, not the dragon skin, but the other, is that like hardware store kind of silicone, or is it like cosmetic silicone?
So, yeah, so the short answer, I guess, would be yes, it is hardware store silicone, depending on what hardware store you're going to. There's a place over here called the Engineer Store, the Engineer Guy. Actually, it's a different name now. Never mind. But, I mean, you can find this, like I said, online. It's not a specialty thing, and it doesn't really matter which silicone you use for this part to make the first cast. The only reason the dragon skin matters when you're casting the actual prosthetic is you want something light and flexible that'll move on the face. You really don't necessarily care what the cast of your sculpt is made out of, because you just want to get that negative. If that makes sense.
We got it.
Yeah, and so as far as putting the prosthetic, like getting the base for the face,
Mhm.
is it like a neutral face, or what do you recommend for?
Yes, so,
It's just to speak of that.
waking you all up. So think about it this way, if someone has to sit there for an hour while you're doing this, right? You want it to be as easy as possible on them, right? So this is pretty much a neutral face. You know, I told her just keep her eyes shut really tight. That's the only thing you just want to be very careful around the eyes. It's plaster, right? Especially when you're taking this off, little grainies. So that's also why what's it called? The Vaseline is very important. You also want to have a towel, or we have some paper towels here ready for them, so that once you take this off, they can wipe their eyes, go to the bathroom, all of that stuff. You know. But other than that, that's pretty much it. And the one thing I will just highlight again is we're gonna put cut straws in the nose so that he can breathe, because that's important.
Okay.
Any other questions?
This is not a snuff film.
It is not, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh my, we talked about fisting already.
Well, hi guys, I'm back. So I did work on Fishy, that was the last film that I worked on. Unfortunately for me, we didn't do any like injuries or scars or anything like that. So that won't be what we're doing today. But I have a bunch of different techniques to do a bunch of different styles of injuries. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them because I don't really know where to start.
I have actually a question.
Yeah.
If you're like a writer or a director, and we obviously hire makeup artists and special effects artists, but we never really, when you come on in production, it typically happens quite late. You get the phone call or the email, or you have to work this job. What is something you wish you could tell to a director ahead of time, months out, even as you're script writing, when they're thinking about, you know, directing an action scene or something, and injuries and the progression of an injury or a scar or a wound?
For sure. So consistency is going to be one of the big things throughout a film, is what you're going to kind of look at, whether that's hair, whether that's makeup, whether that's injuries, tattoos, all of that kind of stuff. You're really going to want to be consistent through all of your shots. You don't want to have a cut on your left arm and then the next scene it's on the right, or it's, you know, on the forearm and then it's like up here. That just doesn't, it's not going to flow. So making sure that you have enough prosthetics, if you're using prosthetics, making sure you have enough of them to be able to recreate it if needed. Another thing is, so for something like this, we definitely need the time for that. The face mold is not really the hardest part. The hardest part is sculpting and making sure that it looks the way everybody wants it to look. But yeah, that's really going to be the biggest thing. I know I was approached initially for Fishy to create the prosthetic, and I just didn't have the time, energy, supplies to do it, so I initially had turned it down. But they came back and they were like, well, would you mind, you know, applying all the prosthetics? Because Tim can make them, but he doesn't know how to put them on. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that. Like, we can absolutely collaborate. I love collaborating with other artists. Teamwork. Yeah, teamwork really makes it like that much easier when you have a group of people that you're working with.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. We love collaboration.
Right.
Yeah, I love collaborating.
In the process of making a prosthetic, who does it depend on as far as if the prosthetic if there has to be movement in the prosthetic, if that makes sense? Like, I imagine like expressions in facial features,
Yeah.
right? How do you, is it more in the application process or is it more in the creation of the prosthetic?
It's more the creation of prosthetics. So there's different kinds of prosthetics you can use. So like this one is a silicone prosthetic. So there's not going to be really any emoting or movement on the face with like a whole face piece on like that. Where if you do foam latex, it's a lot softer, a lot lighter, and you get a little bit more emoting through the prosthetic. But the foam latex is generally going to be the easiest way.
So this is for serving face, really.
Yeah.
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 So this is a whole.
I have a question. So,
Yeah.
like, going off of that, so would you just like break up the different prosthetics into groups if you wanted to create more an emotive look?
Yeah,
And
you can do that.
Okay.
For sure. I've done that for a couple of different things. I've done some shoots where they needed injuries and that sort of thing. So I just created, I did the same thing. I had a mold for face, but I took that mold and created all of the injuries separately. So that when I put them on, they weren't all clumped together. They didn't, her eyebrows could still move. She could still move her face, but you still had the look of the injuries.
And I have another question about the cost of everything. Like, all of those materials, was that like $200?
It's kind of like, so this is the big old pack of the silicone, right? You need smaller packs of that. So I would say if you got a smaller piece like this of this silicone, I would say probably about $100, $100,
Okay,
$150.
and is that per application or?
This is the molding and the getting of the prosthetic itself. Application would kind of be a different part, right?
But how
Well,
much,
I mean,
how
I
much
mean-
did that cost? I
Yeah.
think I get what you're
Yeah.
saying. How much did this alone cost, would you say?
That's, I mean, again, it's like about $100. It's all kind of together. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and then
the
you still
startup
have,
piece.
you
It's the
still have
startup.
stuff left over, materials left
To
over
make more, because now you have the mold, now you
Yeah.
have all, they can make as many of these as you want once you have this going. It's that startup, that's the hard part, right?
Okay,
So it's that initial mold, it's the sculpting, it's the cast of the face, that's all the heavy lifting on the expense side. And then you can take as many casts of this now as you want. Like I said, this is about $35 these together. And if you're conservative and use that like sparingly, you could get about 4 or 5, maybe
For sure.
more casts out of
okay,
that.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
it's not
good,
gonna take the whole.
It's not, yeah.
It's very reasonable.
yeah.
And this is very deceiving. This is just the one I had in my studio that's very large.
Yeah.
But you can get a very small version of just something silicone.
Yeah.
And then also factoring in too, not forgetting to pay them for their time.
Right.
Please.
They are highly skilled, so that, I know that's one thing Milo and I were looking at the budget, is like, we need to make sure that
Yeah, and how much
Their
would
piece.
that be?
that.
You know?
Depends on
Because-
Depends on
It
the
depends on,
rate,
yeah, it depends on the artist, it depends on
Like a
the
range?
project we're doing, like,
Right, well, it would depend on the budget of the film, I
Right.
imagine.
I mean, I've worked on
Is it-
films for nothing, I've worked on films for anywhere from $50 to a few $100s, like, it's just, and they're all short films. But it depends on the project, if it's something you're really passionate about, and something you really wanna do, you might take a little less money for it. If you're getting IMDb credits and stuff like that, and it's working you towards joining a union, that's another thing you take into consideration
Yeah, union rates will be.
on and, with pay.
Yeah, of course. I just wanna give people like kind of good budgetary guidance, you know? Like,
Yeah.
if it's fair to me, I would think would be like $250 a day, but like.
But
Well, that's up to the artist and the budget,
Yeah.
again, the
Yeah.
budget.
Right,
We
that's
do
just
have
something you have to
another,
talk to the artist about.
we have another question back here. What,
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask, are you like part of the design process of like, this is what we want, the zombie to look like, or this is what, well, you said you do wounds too?
Yeah,
This is what this laceration could look like, or do you just kind of like?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
yeah, I've definitely been part of the process where especially if they come to me with something like extravagant, I'm like, okay, well, maybe we can like tone this down a little bit, because this is gonna cost you a lot more than what you're expecting it to cost. Like, there's definitely some collaboration in like the visual aesthetic as well as the price aesthetic, so you're just trying to work together to figure out what's gonna look best.
So I have one more question.
Yeah.
So to make your life easier, because I'm imagining on set you have a million things to do.
Mhm.
Would you like in pre-production cause like the creative team to set up like a meeting between you and the script supervisor to have a conversation? Well, I'm going to be doing all this, applying stuff. I need you to track where everything is going to be on the body.
Mhm.
Is there any particular crew members you like to have that particular meeting with? Is it working with costume? Who's going to take the Polaroids? What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, costume is a big part of it, just making sure that like you're not putting injuries where they're not gonna be seen and they're gonna be hidden under a costume, or if the costume moves a lot, or if you're putting an injury on like a joint where it's gonna move and you're gonna have to like reapply, or, make sure it's settled down well enough that when they do, move, it's not gonna pop off and look silly.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then we want to check in.
We want to check in with where you were at in this process.
Here, what is this that we're making? Oh my goodness.
Delicious meal here. So after 35 minutes. So what I did here, and if you saw me, I didn't even measure. It's just kind of just looking by feel. The more plastic you put in, the clumpier it's going to be, which is good for some things. We want it to be, something that is going to coat here, but is also going to be able to sink in and get all that detail. So I just kind of put enough water, put enough plaster till I felt like it was right. I'm gonna probably keep adding as we go along. I dipped one of my pieces of cheesecloth, and I'm just gonna, again, like I said, just kind of squeegee a little bit. You don't wanna get all of it off, but just so that it's not dripping too much. Again, very messy, put a tarp down.
And then the consistency, wow, that's so loud. The consistency of this, it's like oat milk almost.
Kind of. You can
Even
see
though the
bottom
sludge at the
up
bottom.
here. I don't know if we can see that, right? You can come up too if you want to see. Please come on up.
One
But,
at a
I'll
time,
be
one at a
adding-
time. Want to get this on video.
And as this tube starts setting, because this has a set time of 6 to 10 minutes. Like I said, I don't normally use this. I use the individually wrapped plaster bandages, so you have a better set time, a longer set time to work with. But for this case, I'll probably just keep adding water as it sets to keep going.
Awesome, thank you.
Oh,
Are-
this is gonna be very cold, so just FYI.
Awesome. All right, so I guess next we're going to check in over here with wound care. Sorry, I do medical training, so it's like, oh, yeah.
All right, so I have a ton of different ways to create wounds, injuries, scars, all of that kind of stuff. If you guys have any questions about that, or you want to see any demos, I'm happy to do that as well.
Yes. Actually, we were just talking. Is there anyone here who would like to volunteer to have wounds put on them? Please come on. And you can start that demo now while we're doing this as well. Thank you.
And I will tell you what you want.
You have won bruises. Great. What are you going to do on us? And say, sorry, your name and pronouns, please.
Yeah, I'm Peyton Koltuska. I use he, him as pronouns.
Excellent. Are you a filmmaker?
I am, yes. I'm a director from the Latin Excellence short film block.
Yes.
What's the name of your film?
Have a plan, Theo.
Oh, excellent. Thanks for volunteering. Come on, let us know, Linda, what are we going to be doing?
Middle chair.
Is there anything anybody wants to see specifically? Otherwise, I can just start doing some bruises, some scrapes.
Just start punching them.
Yeah.
Like a good old laceration, like a deep cut,
Yeah.
you know?
For sure, I can do that.
And bruises.
What kind of bruise?
Sorry, just jumping in here. So the first layer of plaster and cheesecloth is the most important because that's the one that's going to pick up all the detail of the face. So when you do that, just make sure you get really in there, you press, and you make sure it's all nice one layer. I'm done.
While you're doing that, I can hold this in case you want to talk about what you're doing.
Sure.
Okay. But this is just amazing. Also, I'm loving this bracelet. If it goes missing, it was not me, I promise. But what are we starting with here?
So this is been my nose and scar wax. So this is pretty efficient for making injuries look a little bit deeper than they are. It's a neutral color, so you just kind of dig it out. I usually make little worms out of it, stick it on the arm, and blend it out until it looks feasible. And then you can take your little spatula and you can dig into it and make the edges a little rough if you want them to look that way. So I always do this first, and then I go in and paint, and I add blood, and I add all the things.
So, because I don't know if you noticed, but we are not the same shade. It's so wild. It's crazy. And yes, it is beautiful dark skin. You're welcome. But
Come through.
But so when you're applying that, you apply that neutral color and then you change the skin tone. Is that what I'm hearing?
You can do that, or they sell this in every skin tone you can imagine. So it's very easy to find. Almost every product comes in a variety of skin tones, and then if it's too cool, you just add color. Yeah.
Awesome. So no excuses out there.
And that's Amazon.com?
No excuse.
I actually went to there's a makeup store in town that I went to grab this. This was $7. It's not much at all, and it'll last forever. I mean,
Is
a ton of
Noresco?
it.
Is it Noresco?
Yes.
Is that where you went?
That's where I went. It was my first time there. I loved it.
It's amazing. It's off of Monroe Drive.
Yep.
So that's pretty amazing. And they have a lot of things there. There's also another, I think Atlanta Costumes is another provider.
What part of Monroe?
You're gonna want to do a prosade or a latex or something to stay. It's gonna be very cold. Stay in place. Yeah.
What were we sharing here?
So when you're applying this, right now I'm not using any kind of adhesive. I'm just kind of going in, putting it on the skin, and it'll stick for a little while, but it won't stick permanently. Obviously, you don't want it to stick permanently.
Scarred forever.
Scarred forever. Scarred for life. But when you are doing it to, be on a set, you want to use some kind of like a liquid latex or a Pros-Aid or a spirit gum, something like that to make it stick to the skin and stay put. And that's really the biggest part of this. Just keep digging out sections.
Yeah, so you guys can see a little bit better.
Yeah.
We're modeling
Feel free
on
to come
here.
up
Oh
and
my
look
God.
if
Yes.
you want to see.
There's some fine detail in what both of them are doing that's worth kind of looking, especially the technique that Linda's using to kind of blend this out. And then over here, there's just a lot going on. I don't know where to start.
Yeah, that's about right.
Our poor model is dripping, so.
I told you it was gonna be messy. It's very messy.
But, okay, so I see there's kind of a separation because we are physically making a wound here.
Yes. Yep, we're just going in, we're sculpting it, add, remove, move it around, whatever you feel like you need to do to make it look like how you want it to look.
So this is a really stupid question. I promise you it is. It's not a good one.
Stop.
You know those people who have never seen a horse before, and so they draw a horse?
Yes.
Should you look at some wounds?
100%. I have an entire album of injuries and wounds and bruising and shingles and chicken pox. I mean, anything you can think of, I have an entire photo album dedicated to it just for research purposes. So I can go back and look at it and be like, does that look right? Yeah, it's all right. So that's I love gory stuff though. Like, I'm a big fan of blood and gore. That's my thing.
Do we want to check in with plaster?
Yes, I was going to do that because I don't know if I'm going to take this any more serious. What are we doing over here?
Covering here in plaster. There's no check-in required. I'm just going in. This again is a little bit sloppier than I normally would want it to be, but we're making it work, right? So as it sets, you'll see I'm just really trying to press in there and smooth. And what is going to get the most detail is that plaster really mushed up against the face, right? So you want to get this as flat as possible, as smooth as possible. And now you can see why we did all that Vaseline, this poor man. So that's it.
And you can also see that their shirt is getting very, very messy. I don't know if they were aware of that.
They were.
Okay.
Yes. They were fully warned.
Good, okay, so.
But we'll give them a new shirt when they leave.
What kind of shirt, Josh?
You
You get a shirt and you get a shirt.
This is not Oprah.
No, it's the Ava show. No, it's not. No, there's three of us. Okay. So apparently plaster is plastering. It's like watching paint dry.
How long does plaster typically take to dry?
So it depends on the amount of moisture and what the temperature of the room is and how much air. Seriously, I know that sounds ridiculous, but it does. So that's why too, if you use those pre-done bandages and you're dipping them, it'll dry faster. Right now with what we're doing and kind of how I'm doing it, it's probably gonna be about 30, 45 minutes to an hour. But that's working time. So as I'm doing this, it's also setting time. So it's setting as we're going here. So you can see it's already getting thicker. So yeah.
Now we're checking back here with the wound care. I'm Nurse Ava, just checking on this wound to make sure it's getting worse.
Make sure it's getting worse.
I'm Nurse Ratchet. But what you can't see, and if you do come closer to see this, because I think this is where a lot of the artistry comes in, is these edges. I think those edges are really key to making someone nauseous. Right? When they look at it, like, oh my god, is this real? Like.
That is neat. Wait,
Feel free to lift it up, you can move it around.
Linda, can you explain how you did what you just did? Because it really does look like flesh open.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just creative process at this point. I just kept digging out parts of that nose wax, rolling it up and sticking it on the skin. The first two that I put on were separated, so there were gaps at the top and bottom. I didn't really want that, so I took a couple more pieces and closed it off at the top and bottom, and then I just kind of took my little spatula. You blend in the edges, the outside edges, blend that in to look like it is the skin, and then I take the inside edges and I just kind of flat them up. I just use the spatula to just push it up, and that's how you get that like floppy skin look.
Not floppy skin.
Is that,
Yeah.
is that spatula specific to makeup and artistry, or is it?
Not really, no. I mean, I got this when I went to makeup school, and I've had it for 4 years at this point.
Can
I've
someone
bent
find
it to.
it, if they could find it at a makeup
For sure.
store?
Yeah, everything that I have, you can find at a makeup store. None of this is like specialty. I mean, it's Ben Nye, which is a nicer brand, if anybody knows anything about cosmetics. But Ben Nye is gonna be a nicer brand. I love an alcohol paint. Alcohol paints are one of my favorite things to use.
Why is that?
It stays. Like, you can build it up, you can build the color up, and it stays put, because you're using alcohol, so water, hairspray, any sweat, anything like that it's not gonna budge.
Now
You
that-
have to use alcohol to remove alcohol.
That's where the follow-up question was. You have to bathe in alcohol now to get it off.
Well, yeah, but I never do it like full body. This is just
For like a wound.
right, I would use it for a wound. I've actually used it, I have made actually did scars for Dragon Con this year. And I use rigid collodium to create the scar, and then I go in with alcohol paints to make the scar look pink, red, textured, whatever I need it to look like. Yeah.
So you can keep working on your artistry, but this is really progressing. Like, yeah, it's making me really nauseous, so you're doing a great job.
We're done.
Oh, okay, we're done over here. Okay, so it's ready to go in the oven. It's ready to bake.
She's ready to bake. Yup.
Wait, does he, is he able to breathe?
No, I'm trying to kill him.
Oh, no.
This really is a snuff film.
Yes. So, I'm so sorry. I know. Thank you. So that's what the straws are for. So he's breathing through the straws. I let him know that the whole process. That's just a good rule of thumb too. Take that. Okay, yes. I let them know through the whole process that it is. Every time I'm touching their face or I'm saying, hey, I'm gonna go into your eyes right now, I'm kind of lightly pressed. I'm making sure I'm communicating just so that they feel safe. I'm asking them all the time, like, hey, let me know, can you breathe, is everything fine? If they're ever having a moment, we'll take this right off. You know, another good rule of thumb is if you're using those pre-done bandages, it's pre-done plaster bandages, on the edges, you're gonna wanna almost fold them up over themselves. This will create a hard edge that'll be easier to pull off the mask and help it from cracking. I'm not doing that as much here because we're using a different kind of plaster, but if we're using those thinner bandages, you kind of want to do 2 or 3 layers going over multiple parts of the face, and then on the very edges, fold them over themselves. One other piece to keep in mind is in the eye area, you want to kind of make sure you press and hold a little bit while that gets, while that starts to set a little bit, just so that you really get those recesses correct. That's one of the areas that wants to pull up off the face.
Oh, so fascinating. I'm just so intrigued by everything. Okay, so now it's getting real. So we're gonna have to switch out here. I know. I work with nurses, but I am horrible when it comes to flesh wounds.
Do you want to take a break?
Yeah.
Okay. It's all good. Alright. Give it up for Kathy. Well, I'm the Kathy. We'll give one next to you. How is everyone doing? Oh my god. Oh wow, that does look disgusting. Oh my god, that is disgusting. Okay. Yeah, you're doing a great job because I am disgusted. Isn't that amazing? So, can you tell us about like an effect on screen that may look super easy, but like is deceptive, like really hard to actually do? Everything's easier. Exactly.
Yeah, I wish. I actually can't think of anything off the top of my head. I'm not gonna lie.
She's a master. Yeah.
What are you taking into consideration when it comes to making this look realistic as far as color goes? Because right now it looks like different shades of orange and maybe a little red,
A little blue.
little blue.
So the blue that I'm using is actually, I'm using blue and red just to kind of blend the scar wax into the skin so that it doesn't look quite so monotone. Because that will give it away if it looks like it's just one shade of skin, because nobody's skin is one shade. So I always add a little bit of blue, red, yellow just to that scar wax to make it look a little more realistic. I did go in and paint the interior of it I started with a brighter red. And then I went in with a little bit of a darker red and filled it in. And once this is done, then I will add some blood and it will look gorgeous. And that is forever my goal. And then I can do some bruising and do some breaks. Yeah.
My question is, do you ever focus on certain like features that are especially unsettling? Like look like the skin lifting up is like, oh.
Yep.
Do you like hone in on that, knowing that that probably will bring a reaction out of the audience?
Yep. That is one of my favorite things to do, is for people to look at it and be like, oh my god, that's disgusting. Like, I love it.
This is amazing. So how are we doing over here? So Io is helping to dry. Fanning.
Actually, I have a question about that. Yeah. So you're fanning naturally with a piece of paper. If you did something industrial, like put a big blower fan, would that affect the quality of the application?
So probably it would. It's more about drying time, right? We're just fanning this right now just to kind of help get this off of him right now so you can see it. Sorry, them, I am so sorry. Get this off of them. Again, a whole bunch of different kinds of factors are going to affect how fast this dries.
Yes, darling, yes.
On a hot, there we go!
Yes!
On a hot day in the summer without humidity, this will cure faster than it will in the winter with, you know what I mean? It's all relative. It's not a science, it's not exact. So that's really why we're doing this right now, is just to get this off his face as soon as we can.
Like if you wanted to apply really, so like I'd rather spend more time to apply it once and apply well versus having to do it twice.
This is the thick blood.
What's the best principle then for letting it dry?
I'm so sorry.
What's the best principle for letting it dry?
I would say work in layers. Instead of one big blob, work in small layers, like a nail polish coating, so that it's drying the whole time, right?
Your kit for like doing this application, how much would that be?
I spent about $68 yesterday at the makeup store, and I got a ton of stuff.
Is that, but that doesn't include your tools too, so maybe like.
No, I mean, I own my tools, so I didn't really factor that into the price. But a lot of my injury stuff has gone missing since I moved, so I need to find it. So I did go to the store and buy a bunch of just little bits, but even this is gonna last me forever. Like, I am not gonna have to refill this for a while.
Yeah, that's good.
It goes a long way, so.
So when you're on set and creating this, like, do you bring everything with you? Are there some essentials that you always have just in case like touch-ups are needed, or, and also like once they start filming, are you on set during the shoot just in case it needs to be touched up?
Yep. Yeah, I stay on set for the whole shoot, or I try to, at least if I can. But yeah, I bring everything. I bring everything I can because you never know what you're gonna need. And I would rather have it, not need it, than need it, not have it. That's always my go-to. So I bring my entire kit, and this is like half of it. I knew what I was doing today, so I came prepared to do that. I didn't bring my whole kit, but.
Here's another question for you, because obviously you have an amazing kit. What's it like though when you're fighting, I suppose, with the production team? They'll give the cameraman as much money as possible for the budget, or the gaffer, but when it comes to you, we got this amount left. What's it been like fighting for what your works and like your kit rental and everything?
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't. I haven't fought, just because I am still relatively green to the industry,
right. So
I'm working my way up. And I'm kind of just taking what I can get and going by word of mouth. I do have a full-time job and a part-time job, and then I do this when I have time and when I get requested. So it's been great. I've had a great time doing it, and Atlanta's been very kind to me. So, but no, I have not fought with anyone over money. So.
And they are both based in Atlanta, so if you want to work with these amazing people and artists, they are both based here, and you should definitely get their contact information. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
So if you have to like mass produce like a lot of actors with cuts or even like a lot of molds, how do you manage that if you have to get them ready?
What's it take?
Yeah, you need a big team for that kind of thing, and there's probably gonna be a situation like this where there's like, sorry. It's gonna be a situation like this, where we've got Tim and I had Titus doing airbrushing and I was doing prosthetic application and also doing final touches on the airbrush work, and, you know, we all just kind of work together as a team. But I know Tim made some of the prosthetics, I think Titus made a couple, we bought some, so it's really just a collaboration of figuring out what we need.
That's for one person.
That's just for one person, yeah. If we have a large group, like a Walking Dead style situation, it's the same process, just much bigger. You have a much larger team working on that.
Which means they also have a bigger budget.
Yes.
But once you create some of these prosthetics, they are reusable, correct? No. Ooh.
No.
Oh, juicy.
More money.
This is,
Yeah.
this is, right? Like, this
The
can be
mold,
reused.
you have this mold,
Yeah.
so you can cast as many as you need to.
Right.
Yeah, you have this mold to cast as many as you need to, but yeah, the prosthetics themselves, again, this prosthetic that we're making is made to fit their face specifically, with this face specific, you know what I mean? So it also, it's not something that would as easily fit on someone else's face because of that back mask that we pushed in. What that does is it helps the prosthetic itself almost kind of suction cup to that person's face, but it's made for their face. It's not made, you know what I mean? You can probably get it to stick other places, but it's not gonna be as good.
So for that model, can they use that later?
That honestly would be a prosthetic application question. Once I make it, I hand it off to lovely people and that's what happens, so.
So Linda,
Like
for
if
that
you-
prosthetic, is the prosthetic reusable? That is not at all.
So the
latex.
final, like, what you're putting on that face is not reusable.
Because bacteria fix things.
Yeah,
So they can only use it one application?
that would be my recommendation. I'm sure you probably could use it more than once, but I wouldn't recommend.
What's the
trying to
reason
do it.
why?
It's gonna get worn down, you're gonna start getting breakage, you're gonna start getting, it's gonna start coming apart at the seams. And also, it's already been painted, so you have to then match the paint job to the person's face again, where it's easier to just sometimes repaint.
But there's already a cast of their face.
Exactly, so you have all the hard work
yeah.
done, so you can just cast it again, that's what we were saying.
God. Okay, let's move over here.
Oh, gee.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Linda, could you stand on the other side just for shadow? There we go.
You look like a patient from the
Can you like
pit.
describe what you
Yeah,
did, why you
describe.
why you made the blue and all that stuff?
I can't wait.
Yeah, so I put the scar wax on his arm, just kind of molded it, sculpted it however I wanted it to look. Went through and used my alcohol-based paints to add some red, blue, and yellow to the scar wax to make it blend in with the natural skin.
Can
And
you
then-
show it now?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's a full replacement, but I went in with my Cryline paints and I did a bright red and then I went in with a darker red. And then I just went in and put some thick blood and then a little bit of stage blood in there, just to make it a little gooier.
Gooier.
Yeah.
Any
And
questions?
the nice thing with this is like you can make it any shape, you can make it any width. I do recommend using some kind of adhesive when you're doing this. I did not, just because I'm sure this will this on for all day.
What would you say happened in order for this wound to happen?
What's the backstory?
Oh.
The backstory of the wound.
Ooh, who wants to give a
I wanna know
backstory?
the story.
That's what the storytellers are for.
Yeah, different department, different department.
Come on, she's a makeup storyteller.
Suicide.
What
Yeah,
happened?
that or like rock climbing, you just like
Oh,
hop
yeah.
on
Ooh.
Jagged rocks.
yeah, like a jagged rock, or you're swimming on and catch a branch or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Woof.
No, that's really cool.
I would probably add some bruising around it, add a little bit more redness since it's a fresh wound, but I didn't do that yet.
Any recommendations for actors when they have, I mean, I don't know. I guess like sometimes I feel like maybe directors don't know how to tell their actors like, oh, and be careful what they make. Like, what would you say
Yeah.
for like me? For example, yeah.
You're not gonna wanna get it on your clothes. It's
Right.
really gonna be my biggest recommend. I've done that before. I've been practicing on myself and just like not paying attention and end up with blood all in front of me. And it's a pain to get out, so I don't recommend it.
Actually, that's a great question because actors aren't known for to be the most compliant Is there anything you can do to mitigate that risk? Apply
like a director.
Hey, I have something to say about that.
Well, just hard to keep them on set.
Actually, we have 2 actors up here.
You can ask the actors.
But like, is there a setting spray or, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. There's setting spray that's going to keep it in place for a long time. Use hairspray if it's dire and you don't have your setting spray. You can use hairspray.
Quick question for you. If you wanted to recreate this over multiple days, what is the best way to do that? Would you suggest having a prosthetic that would be made that way, or would you suggest trying to take photos and replicate it?
You could do it either way. Creating a prosthetic, if it's going to be something that's used multiple days, multiple scenes, would be the most efficient way to do it. But if you don't have the time, means, energy, whatever it might be, to create a prosthetic, then you can go ahead and just take a bunch of pictures of it throughout the process. You get the scar wax on there, take a picture. You get the paint in there, take a picture. You get the blood in there, take a picture, just so that it's all consistent.
So I have one more question. Because you talked about your photo albums, like you have every disease imaginable. I can't wait for TSA to stop you. But a question, but when you get a script and just say you're going to work on something, it's a short film, it's in a hospital, and they have, maybe, you know, we're queer storytellers, maybe we can even tell a story that's recent, maybe something like monkeypox. Do you do much research on your end to track the progression of a real life disease versus something like a scrape from a bear?
Yeah.
So that's something, that research that you do in your own time. What does that research process look like for you?
So it is research that I've done on my own time. I have had situations where they've come to me and been like, hey, this is what we want to do, this is what we want it to look like, here's the reference images.
Yeah.
And I will take that and do my own research on it and also come up with images, and we can go back and forth with that, just kind of deciding what's going to look best, what's going to look most realistic. But yeah, I've got facial hair albums, I've got bridal makeup albums, I've got injury albums, I have albums for everything that I could possibly need to do within the industry.
Right.
Just for my own personal research.
I have a question.
Hold on, let me share something and then you can ask your question. So one thing, so when you cast these prosthetics, there's going to be this raggedy edge, right? That's going to come from as you're putting that, you're painting that silicone into your mold. You don't want to get rid of that raggedy edge. That's actually going to help a lot with making sure that blends into the face. So you can see we actually kind of caught a few of these in the process. This is one of my early testers, right? But here on the bottom, you can see that raggedy edge. So do not feel bad about that. You want that. That's going to be helpful. And one other thing before we pass to the microphone again, we have some photos here that we can kind of take you through of the process of when we were actually putting this on to Harlow. Linda's in some of them as a candid. You can see Titus airbrushing, and you can see how this then was transformed and even added and layered on with texture from Titus. And it just was this amazing collaboration that all of us kind of added this piece. And then when Harlow got into it, it was this very strange, like, she became like, what do you call, what were we saying she was like? But like, come up and see me sometime. She was like, she was Mae West meets Fish. It was so weird, and it was something that none of us expected, and each one of us together kind of like made this happen, and she was in the full look, and she suddenly just became who she was meant to be. So, a fish. She's a fish.
I have a quick question. We have a lot of filmmakers here, obviously, and effects and things like that can be very intimidating when writing and creating. How should filmmakers go about telling you what they want? Do you prefer to be really hands-on, or do you prefer the director to be like, I want this, I want to be as specific as this?
Doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't matter to you?
No, I'm happy either way.
So now we're doing something really interesting. We're starting to remove the face mask. It's finished being in the oven. It is fully baked, we think, but we're doing that thing you do when you cook cupcakes and you dip it in.
You gotta
Okay.
tap. We're kind of lightly tapping, and I'm just trying to judge from feeling it how it feels on their face, how dry it is on the inside. So we're just kind of tapping it, seeing if it resists me. It does feel like it's ready to go. So I just took the straws out of their nose. You don't want to pull it out, the straws in the nose, that's painful. And then we're going to just kind of lightly push and pull it off. And the whole time, please, if you feel anything or whatever, that's communication.
Hand signals work too. And I'm assuming some of that skill in knowing when it comes off just comes from doing it and being able to tap. So do it and do it often.
You're free. No, don't open your eyes. Don't open your eyes.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question about the masking process?
Let's let
Yes.
Titus finish with the model's face, and then let's answer that question. I want to make sure that the model's comfortable.
Tim? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
No, no.
Oh my gosh.
We're all, it's fine. So yeah, so here's the mask, as you can see. So now, if I was doing this to actually make the plaster mold like we did for Harlow's face, I would go deeper and kind of create a little cavity here, right? So you can even go after the fact maybe and put some of those plaster bandages just to kind of seal this off so you can pour the plaster into there. But I'm gonna get up into the camera real quick so you can see for a second. But all I did from this point was build that up so I kind of have a cavity, pour just the same plaster of Paris. Before you do that, you're gonna wanna spray mold release. So this is a mold release here. You're gonna wanna spray that on the inside so the plaster doesn't stick to the plaster, right? You can also put some Vaseline if it's really got a lot of texture going on in there. But just a nice coat of this, pour the plaster in, let that plaster set, and then once you take that out, you're gonna have that face cast.
Awesome.
Get up nice and close for you.
Look
Winter
at
night.
that. This is the best baking episode ever. Oh my gosh.
Now let's get you some of the winter eyes off.
And then once we finish taking care of the model, we will come back to your question if that's okay. But while that's happening, let's check in with, it looks like there's some bruising going on here, some what we call moulage when we need to do it in the medical whatever. Leo, since you're close, but you're recording video. Okay, no, cool. I can come over here. Look at that, thank you. Thank you for hiding it. So what are we doing here, Linda?
I'm just adding some bruising. Knuckles and wrists are always a really fun place to do bruising just because it's where you see it kind of more naturally, and it's going to be more prominent. So I'm just adding some, we've got a fresh bruise on the knuckles, and then we've got a more like healed bruise on the wrist down here. Kind of see.
Look at this. Oh my god, that looks so real.
Yeah.
Are you okay, sweetie?
I've been going through it.
A lot of
Been going
injuries
through it.
I see, like, okay, do you feel safe at home? Okay, you can, this is a safe space.
It's a serious rock climbing accident. Yeah, very
Remember,
safe.
Grady's only a mile away.
Only a mile away, okay.
We're gonna
Okay,
go just wash off their face in the bathroom.
okay.
We'll be back.
All right, so they're gonna be back. Keep your question, keep it
Guiding you.
in there. They're gonna be back while we have some fun with
Do you have a
bruising.
do you have a question about these?
Oh, yeah, I wanted to ask, so if there's an effect where like, let's say, you know, there's like a blood splurt or whatever, are you part of that, like, process of making that so you're, okay, and then like, how do you guys communicate what happens? Like if some kind of action like that, you know?
It's mostly just like timing, or there's like a verbal cue, you're listening for a line and or a sound as to like when that's going to happen is generally how I've done it. But I mean, I'm in the background, I've generally got a tube with like a syringe or something pushing the blood to make it squirt that way. So I'm in the back and I can see the director and everybody. So they'll give me some kind of a like hand signal or a head signal just to let me know when to go. So it's one or the other. It's either gonna be like a hand signal or a verbal cue or an auditory cue.
Actually, I can add a little bit to that as well. I even seen them use like a paintbrush for a blood splatter, where you get like a paintbrush and you go like.
For sure, I've done that too.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
This is absolutely crazy. I have never seen anything like this. I now know how to scare my husband. No, not the right place.
This is the bruise kind of
So
get
this
colors.
is the bruise palette, yeah.
And that can be ordered online, Noresco.
Yeah, that's where I got it, was Noresco.
There we go.
They have it there. And if you're a pro makeup artist, you can sign up to be a pro at Noresco and you'll get a discount on all of their, that was pretty badass. If you're a professional makeup artist or you know a professional makeup artist, have them go to Noresco and sign up to be a pro because you will get discounts. I think most things are about 20% off, but they run sales where the pros get like 40 to 50% off items. So that's a good option as well.
It pays to know a pro.
I have a quick question just about horror, since you are a gore fan and CGI is real in a lot of movies. Can you talk about like why practical effects matter and why that just sort of like adds some sort of realistic edge to horror movies as opposed to like, you know, CGI blood is everywhere in horror movies now.
Yeah.
So, can you talk a little bit about that?
I personally, it's personal preference. Like, I would rather see a physical injury and know that like an artist worked on it as opposed to seeing CGI and it's very clearly a fake blood squirt. Like, that's just not super fun to watch. But it also, it's there's a term for it, but it like brings the actor into the moment when they actually have the injuries, cuts, blood, all that kind of stuff. It brings the actor more into the scene. So you're gonna get, I think, a little bit better of a result doing it with practical effects.
More authentic portrayal of terror here. This has been amazing. Oh my goodness. Does anyone have any more questions?
Actually, yes, sorry.
No,
Have
please
you
don't be
ever
sorry.
applied I'm Irish, so I was just say sorry for have you ever applied makeup for canines or animals, or like, can that, no.
I can't say that I have. I'd be open to trying, but I can't say that I have.
What considerations should we have if we're gonna try that?
No.
Like applying.
Like say like you're doing like a zombie dog, you know, like
That's probably gonna be more of a CGI.
I'm about to say,
aspect.
yeah, that's
Or
gonna be
like
more
maybe
CGI.
a prop dog or something, like
Yeah.
built a whole model dog.
They don't put things on them.
Yeah, they might eat it off.
Yeah, speaking of which, are these toxic if ingested? Is that something you have to pay attention to with kids or with animals or handling food?
I don't think they are. So for blood specifically, you can make edible blood.
Sure.
So if that's something that one's concerned about, then I would definitely recommend using the like.
I was thinking more of like the wax and the alcohol-based makeup.
Well, yeah, that's not something you want to ingest.
Sure.
But I've never really worked on kids as far as this goes, so I don't think it would. I mean, it depends on the age of the kid and the, temperament, but I haven't worked on kids, so I don't know what the reaction would be.
But also
But
if you're
theoretically not edible would be my go-to.
Yeah. Like how easily is it transferable though? Like if you were, let's say you were dressing someone up with a lot of bruising or stuff on their hands, but then they went to go eat lunch. Would that be a concern? Would need to be careful about how they're eating and stuff?
No, I don't think it's gonna be. I mean, kids eat lipstick all the time. That's not an uncommon thing. So I don't think a little bit of bruised paint is gonna be the end of the world if you're eating a sandwich.
Sure.
So we're gonna check back in with Plaster Fun over here. And also on the screen, like Tim said, we've got final images from Fishy, which is just absolutely wild, crazy. But what have we got going on here?
So, I mean, this is the process now. So this is just kind of what we talked about. So now we have this face mold. Our model is washing off their face. I walk them toward the bathroom. You want to make sure that they wash their eyes out before they open them. So just take some water, kind of cup it like you learned in science class, and just flush out your eyes. So right now they're just washing up the bathroom. One thing I will communicate. Oh, they're there. Well, if you want to talk about what she said to me while we were walking over, I think that's actually really important for people to hear from a model's perspective.
The most interesting thing was obviously giving up your control, and he's touching my face and telling me where he's going to put his hands, and his touch was so confident yet soft, and so it really helped. And I'm a bit of a nervous Nelly anyway, so this time I was like, oh, I'm just like so chill. It was great. The one challenge I had was listening to everybody going, oh, look at that, look at that. I'm like,
It's still on. You can still see it.
I know, and so I'm very excited. And I'm also a nurse by training, and so the idea of a wound aging is really intriguing to me. Because a wound looks really different the first hour from the fourth hour from the 24th hour. And I hate when I look at TV or something and I see blood. It doesn't look like blood, it doesn't change. And it just sits there until bright red and wet 24 hours later. No, it's not.
Oxidizes, it gets.
It oxidizes.
Ooh,
It oxidizes.
oxidized
It's very
iron.
dark.
Ground beef in your fridge.
Sorry?
It's like ground beef in your fridge.
Yeah, yeah. And if you ingest it and then vomit it out, it has a real different quality.
Covering all the topics.
Oh yeah, so this is for you if you want to hold on to that. But so yeah, so yes, right? Is that creepy? It's really, really weird. And then when you do the positive, so it's called a positive when you pour the plaster into that, and you get this essentially. I'll put in the link once we wrap this up. I think this is actually not plaster. This is a different material that I found. It's a little bit heavier duty than plaster because that tends to chip. This is a little bit sturdier, but we'll link that so that you know what that is. But I just wanted to kind of reiterate with the model. The reason why this works is I'm constantly checking in. I'm constantly saying, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm touching you, this is why I'm touching you. Because, I mean, you have stuff on your face, it's closed in, it's scary. So that bedside manner truly, I know it sounds stupid, but it really is so important, and they have to trust you. One other thing I'll say is we did a face, but you can do anything with these plaster bandages. So you can do a full body cast. Like I said, I'm a drag queen, I sew my own clothing. One of the things that I did was I had a friend that wrapped my entire body, my drag body, with plaster bandages. It took forever. But you can cast those, make prosthetics. I want to make a set of boobs for myself that I can like wear, that are realistic, because I wear a lot of strapless stuff. So it's limitless what you can do here. And it's such an easy mold making method that makes it a lot more tangible, right? So, yeah.
I'm now seeing more gender affirming options for those who may not have access to it. Like,
Now, woo, look at that.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to apply a daily prosthetic, be my guest. I'm still trying to figure out, so one of the things I'm working on is to figure out how to do the boobs that they're also, like, they can withstand a dress pushing against it and the corset pushing against it. So do I stuff them? How do I make that kind of like, because boobs for queens is like $600-700 and nobody has time for that, right? So I'm trying to figure out how to best take this dragon skin and make a pillow almost that I can, you know what I mean? But again, that raggedy edge is what's gonna allow you to apply it and make it look seamless. So, but yeah, interesting take on how to use it. Oh, I love it.
diverted thinking. Also, I love the word raggedy. Me and my partner just love that word in the house. Like, that is so raggedy.
So raggedy.
Also, scratches.
Oh, wow.
You got the scratch.
I want to give you a tetanus shot. Okay, so tell us,
Oh, good one. Oh, yeah.
from a nursing perspective, how does this look?
Oh, yes. It looks really good. Can I have some iodine, please? Gross.
Right? Gross is really the word. Truly.
It's like somebody grabbed it with two claws or something.
Oh, an alien.
What's
So based on both of your experience, how old is this wound? Based on like the blood color, what would you say?
It's probably like 12 hours old.
12 hours
old? 12 hours old.
Some more redness
Beautiful.
around the exterior
Yeah.
of
Wow.
the irritation.
Yeah,
but
it
outside of
does
that-
look a little infected.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about these scratches. So
It's gonna be more of like a road rash situation, like you
Yeah.
tripped and fell and just
Right.
caught your arm.
Gravel.
so like a little
Fell off
scratch
scooter.
on the cement.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're ready to film on Stone Mountain now. We can
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's enough cement around the city and construction around the city where this is definitely possible.
So, people come in from the emergency.
Yeah, let's have a conversation.
Oh, I said I'm an ICU nurse, and so people who come into the emergency room look like this. The nurse is there, clean them up, get them all ready for me. So I look at that and I go, ooh, ouch.
Thank you. I feel vindicated.
Great job.
So what's your dream project to work on? Like as a horror fan? What would you like? Do you like zombies more, vampires more, ghouls? What's your thing?
So, funny enough, I'm actually not a horror fan.
I just like gore.
I just like reading gore.
Oh, okay. We support you. I
I'm a scaredy cat. I don't do horror films. It's not my thing. But I do love some gore. So I actually watch a lot of like medical dramas. Those are always super fun to watch. Grey's Anatomy and that kind of thing. But I also, my dad was a paramedic growing up, so he had the medical books everywhere, and I would just go crazy looking at all the medical books. Didn't bother me.
I love it.
And even before I went to school to do makeup, I did a lot of stuff on myself on my free time. I would sit and just watch TV and create these like injuries, wounds, looks, whatever, just in my free time. And then I decided to go to school for it, so here we are.
I just about make money on that.
Yeah, I've been doing it since like 2013 or 2014, all on my own, and then I finally went to school in 2021. So, yeah, a lot of self-taught stuff.
Any recommendations, like what do you look for when you're looking for a school to learn that?
I looked at a couple of different schools. There really aren't a ton of them, and I wanted like a full-fledged program. So I looked at makeup designer in both New York and LA, and I looked at the Thompson School. I was going to go to LA, but they weren't taking new students, so I ended up going to New York, which ended up working out phenomenally, and I loved it there. I did the master's program, so I did everything from matching foundation, contour, and basic glam, all the way up to creating prosthetics, sculpting, molding, the whole nine. So, and I loved it. It was fantastic. So,
can you ask Timothy the same question as the horror? Are you into horror as well?
Hive mind working.
Yes.
So, yes, I am into horror. So I'm a drag queen, like I said, but I'm also like a giant musical theater gay. So, I've been trying to make this kind of amalgamation between drag and Broadway happen here, and I want to do Sweeney Todd the worst way. That's like just all drag Sweeney Todd, right?
It was a great conversation with Harlow.
Oh, it was great. It was great. And homegirl can sing, and she can make all her shit. So anyway, but no. So and I also just say too, alma mater shout out. I went to FIT in New York City for fashion design as well as kids toy design. So it's a lot of different stuff. Yeah.
So if I say need a cape or something, a very regal cape.
Yes, I could make that for you. Yes.
Oh my God, that just made me sneeze.
So I, like I said, I do a lot of commissions in the area for local queens. I'm known as the prop girl and the production girl. Most recently I was in the Little Miss Wussy pageant, and I did this whole, it was a headless Queen of Hearts look, and the way that I pulled it off, if you've seen Drag Race with Bounty Morphosis, that was crap. What I did instead was I had a stool that I rolled around on so it was the right height, and I had this piece that built off of my shoulders, right? So that I was kind of like here, and I had my mannequin here, right? And then my head was here, so it looked like I was headless, and here's the body, but it was the right height. So it's just another way that you can think of doing two special effects. I mean, that was all practical. That was just me playing with your eye so that you think my body's here, but it's really here, you know?
Wait, did you answer that? Are you a horror?
Yeah.
Horror.
Yes.
Drink that.
The Shining, or like Sweeney Todd, or anything like that.
A bloody, gory musical.
A bloody, gory musical. I'm more of a psychological person. I have the Shining twins tattoo on me, so like I love that. Yeah, we're actually going to be doing Titanic. It's a Titanic. So that's going to be end of the month. I'm a giant Titanic fan. I'm going to be Rose. But yeah, we're trying to figure out how to do some quick prosthetics for that too. So.
This is so amazing. Questions from the audience? No, yes.
So when you're applying the plaster, I was wondering, is it important that they be seated upright, or can they lay down? Because I know the face might sag. Is that a big concern when you're applying plaster? And with the mold remover, could you also use Pam or another thing if you did not have access to that?
Wait, did I hear ham?
Pam. I honestly don't know if you could use Pam. So this is like, it is non-stick. I don't know how we would, I mean, oil, I wouldn't want to like put my name to that. I don't know. You should try that and let me know. But this is for Mies Hardware. So like no excuses. Go get it, you know? This and
Sometimes it gets dirty on a set, you know?
Yes, I know, but you can use that, you can use Vaseline, we all know you have Vaseline, so it's fine. There we go. But a considerate top should also have Vaseline for their bottoms.
They should be
They
considerate.
should. They should be considerate. You should have it.
They never are. They just have stupid KY lube and it sucks.
Not always. There are some very let's get it very straight. Or bits. I mean, let's see where we are. Anyway.
I am just here to say thank you again for this amazing demonstration. Thank you, makeup artists. Thank you to our models, Woo, and last minute model. Thank you, thank you. And to everyone that came.
More of their work or
Yeah. Where can we continue to support your projects and follow you? I know you were mentioning your drag shows.
Instagram.
So go ahead.
Plug it. My Instagram at Guyza Manelli on Instagram.com, like Liza Manelli, but Guyza, Guyza Manelli. You'll see my big fancy face.
Like a man?
Like Guyza, as in Liza, Manelli.
Oh my.
It's multiple layers of joke that nobody gets, yes.
And you, where can we find more of your work and information?
I am also on Instagram and I do have a website. If you want it, you are welcome to come ask me because my last name is atrociously long and it's hard to spell. So if you are interested, please feel free to come up, ask, and I will give it to you.
For video.
Oh, for video, it's my Instagram is Linda Osowitz. It's LindaOssowicz.
That's like that.
And that's gonna be my, yeah, and that's my website as well.
It's 8 letters, just fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This has been amazing, as I said, like super great.
Well, tomorrow, for anyone that's interested, we have our staged reading of our short screenplay competition winner. We'll have professional actors performing, and that will take place for any filmmakers in the house after the filmmakers brunch. So stay for that reading. That's going to be at Outfront Theater, and tonight we have. So this was in honor of Queens of the Dead.
And we also have a really great, before that, we have a great Fright Collection horror shorts, which starts here at 7. And if you want something, that's a little different, we have Dreams and Nightmares at Outfront at 8:30. We're gonna start showing films at Outfront. We have a whole horror night. And then we have Queens of the Dead at 9:15 after our Fright Horror Shorts collection here at Landmark. So it's a whole night of amazing horror that starts at 7. So definitely be here. We have one of the producers of Queens of the Dead here as well.
And Amiko has something to say.
Hey, yo. Let's give everybody a round of applause. I just want to come on and just encourage everybody. First of all, for those that don't know me, my name is Miko Evans. I'm the founder of Meek Productions. We're the world's first LGBTQ exclusive talent agency and production company. We've been supporting Out on Film since 2012. And for those people who have missed the entire second annual Queer Film Summit, it is now on YouTube, on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Meek Productions TV. That's MEAK as in Kite Productions with an STV on YouTube. So this video that we're doing right now should be uploaded about within an hour and a half, 2 hours max. So you should be able to see it for the entire weekend for those that missed it. So thank y'all so much. I was so glad to be a part of this.
Thank you, Miko. We love you, and thank you all. And this was the end of our Queer Film Summit for this year. Yeah. Thank you once again.
Okay, and then now let's clean up.